If white folks would have just left everybody alone and went to Antarctica or Iceland or some crap, Greenland or some crap, to start your own America there, wouldn't nobody care. Don't nobody care if you want to have an all white America, but leave everybody else alone to have their own too. If all whites aren't racist, then you shouldn't have an issue with what's about to be said. My goal is to take 10,000 brothers and destroy every sundown town in America.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. In case you're new here, my name is Maren.
And I'm Maureen.
Right, so in today's episode, you're going to be reacting to a video of a Black American creator on TikTok who goes by the name Moses Kenya. In today's episode, he's gonna be giving a speech that is going to be quite literally leaving white people feeling pissed, yeah?
Right, and I do believe that this is one of those episodes he's sending a very strong message to his own people, and I do believe that this is one of those episodes that wasn't meant to land on white people's ears,
but at the same time also it kind of was, because there's a point in the video where he's gonna be addressing white Americans, yeah, and talking to those who normally say that they are not racist or they don't see color, right? And he's just asking a simple or a fair question, I feel like, yeah. If you feel like whatever is happening in America is correct, how about how for every action that white America takes, Black America also forms the
retaliates with the same action,
and then we see if it's gonna be an acceptable behavior, right? And the question we're asking is, from what he explains in the video, guys, we'd like you to leave us an answer on the comment section. Would you say that the brother is right in his perspective or way of thinking, and would you say that the real what they're normally called, who at the gates, barbarians at the gate, who does the title go to, right? But we don't want to talk a lot, guys. Let's just watch the video we prepared for, and then we come back and talk about it. You can remember to subscribe if it's your first time here, and also remember to follow. For those who are interested, follow him on TikTok. He's called at Moses Kane. We'll be leaving his arts on the screen,
right? And you can also say hi to him on our behalf.
Yeah, should you visit his page, right? Let's watch and then we come back.
If white folks would have just left everybody alone and went to Antarctica or Iceland or some crap, Greenland or some crap, to start your own America there, wouldn't nobody care. Don't nobody care if you want to have an all-white America, but leave everybody else alone to have their own too. That's the problem that you seem to completely miss all throughout the current time and in history. Nobody gives a damn if you just leave everybody else alone. Do you understand that you are in the middle, you little pale-skinned vampire? You are in the middle of every global conflict there has ever been. Every assassination, every coup. You are in the middle of all of the messy shit all the time. You are at the center of it. When people start investigating, oh, well, I wonder what happened here. I wonder who did this. I wonder how this came to be. Oh, lo and behold, look who's at the center of it, sitting in the damn middle of the room, in the middle of the mess, like a damn mischievous toddler, looking stupid in the face. White folks, specifically white Americans. But I want Black people to remember something. White Americans want you to be exactly like them. The reason being, how that started, is because they are Europe's rejects. They didn't just leave. They think that they want you to believe that they just left to start America on this noble trip. No, they were kicked out. They are Europe's rejects. They were removed, thrown out, tossed out from Europe. So they have no place to go but America. So this is why they try to divide you from everybody else in the world. They create negative stereotypes for you. They create negative propaganda for you. They condition and brainwash you into believing the same propaganda. So much so that all the Black people now in current time uphold all the negative stereotypes, uphold all of the negativity and bad habits that we have in this community today. We are seeing the result of that historical propaganda play out now, because you got kids that you can't even be positive with. You got adults that you can't even be positive with. And somehow we all sit up here and go, oh, well, it's the dang kids, these dang YNs. And it's the dang women, it's the dang men. No, 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 no. You're actively contributing in what they want you to contribute in. Divisiveness. We are living and breathing the long-term effect, the result of brainwashing. But you still thinking it's a conspiracy theory, right? Let's go back to the pale-skinned vampire. We don't care about your sundown towns. We don't care about none of your little racist habits, none of your little racist thoughts. We don't care if you would just leave everybody alone. But you don't know. You seem to think the poor pale-skinned vampire, the poor whites, you know, because they kind of slow in the brain, right? They kind of slow. The poor whites, for whatever reason, believe still that nothing's happening in America. And they believe this because it's not happening to them. You know, that's funny because during slavery, those same whites, oh, well, it's not so bad. We only essayed 1,000 of your women today. It's not that bad. We only executed 1,000,000 children today. We only essayed 1,000 children today. We only chopped off the foots and castrated 20,000 of your men today. It ain't that bad. Oh, I don't see what the hubbub is about. It's the same thing, just evolved. It's the same thing. We're dealing with the same kind of people. Now they just troll you. Now there is a marketplace for Black trauma. There's a marketplace for Black outrage. There's a marketplace to keep you triggered. There's profit margin in it. People can post videos on these apps triggering you and make money. Let them have their racism. Let them have their sundown towns. Let them have a white country build a Black one. Let us have our Black sundown towns then. Let us have everything they gonna have. We should have the equal to it. Stop complaining. This is my message to Black folks now. Stop complaining about what they doing. Just match their energy. If all whites aren't racist, then you shouldn't have an issue with what's about to be said. My goal is to take 10,000 brothers and destroy every sundown town in America. My goal is every time on the news, a little Black girl gets slammed on her head by a racist, corrupt cop, we go find that cop and do the same thing to his little girls. My goal is whenever a brother gets downed, unalived by an officer, every time a sister gets downed, unalived by a racist cop, we go and down him and one of his family members. See how he like it. That's my goal. When I could put together a group of brothers, a very large group of brothers with that purpose. I don't care about what the consequence is for it. I don't care about the repercussions for it. I don't care about the challenges that we would face trying to do it. You know, and I know it needs to be done. So when I can grow large enough to where I can organize brothers to wherever something pops up on the news, such and such unalived by law enforcement, video pops up on a screen, a young brother, young sister gets shot in the back 20 damn times for holding up a dang wallet or a cell phone, gets tased for nothing, gets punched in the face in the middle of a traffic stop. When these things happen, I want to be able to show up with brothers and punch you in your face and see how you like it. I don't care how you feel about it. I don't care about the fear attached to it. I don't care about the hesitation or the caution. The fact is, it's only one way to deal with a bully. I'm gonna whoop your ass. We've all been taught to walk away, turn the other cheek. Success is your best revenge. If that's the case, why the hell they don't take that route? We know the Klan operates in every branch of government. The Klan operates in every branch of power in this country, in corporations, in judicial branches, in law enforcement, everywhere. So why can't we operate at the same capacity? You might say, they're not gonna let us do that. They're not gonna. If I had a rock, I'll bust your head, bitch. I don't care what they not gonna let us do. Just do. We have to, at some point, we have to stop with this whole what they gonna let us do crap. Just do. If we can't have our own systems, then we start robbing theirs blind. If we can't have our own corporations, we can't have our own political figures, we can't have our own America, our own version of America, then destroy theirs. Stop peacefully coexisting with what you know is not beneficial towards you. You already know, we already know, they do everything in their power to make the poor whites feel like we just lying. We out here fabricating stuff. Filthy motherfucker. They've been doing it since slavery, ain't nothing new. But they do that to keep the poor whites focused on attacking us, and they keep us attacking each other. We really don't care nothing about the poor whites, but they keep throwing rocks over a dang hill and hiding their hand. So then eventually we got to turn around and look at them and deal with them. But the more important issue is, why do we keep living in fear of someone, of something that has always had to cheat in order to stay in front of us?
So guys, welcome back. Let us know what you think about this episode on the comment section. Yeah, let's first talk about the first clips, because there's two topics he's spoken about, the first clip and the second clip. The first clip where he was talking about, he was asking a very fair question: why can't white people just leave every other person alone? Because, and it does make sense, because there's something he said about, in every conflict in the world, there's a white person involved. And I'm asking myself, I don't know how many of you watched the episode where we featured another creator who asked ChatGPT quite interesting questions, and she got answers from ChatGPT itself. And she asked, why is it that white people are always in other people's business, right? And ChatGPT answered and said, yeah, because that is how they survive. They colonize, they like to take what is not theirs,
they imitate it, and eventually steal it from the people who truly own it. And right now we can see this to be a very true case, right? Because right now we've even heard of a town, a society being built in the Ozarks that is completely white town, you know. And right now we're just waiting to see how that whole situation will boil over. But I don't know if they will mind their business up there in the Ozarks, then it's all right.
And I feel like, to be honest, black people would not mind if they would, you know, the suggestion this brother was giving, if they would just stick
go up there and stick to themselves without minding other people's business.
The question is, how long would they survive without other communities? Because how white supremacy works and how white people feel superior is when there's someone else to belittle, right? So if they start doing it amongst each other, it's gonna end up making them be at loggerheads with each other, you know. So it's gonna get to a point. That is why racism was created in the first place in America, yeah, because the systems that were created wanted it to be in such a way where they were not fighting amongst themselves, but they were fighting someone they considered to be less than them, you know.
They wanted someone they considered to be less than them to do all the hard or dirty work they'd consider, all the work they'd consider as dirty. And another thing the brother said, he mentioned about if white people are building their communities, as the black community, we should be able to also build our own community over here and not mind what they are doing, you know. And he also said that in building the black community, can we stop having the wrangles with the white community? But he also brought up a very important point, which I usually hear black Americans speak of a lot, right? The problem with black Americans building their own communities is people believe that the government usually puts surveillance on its citizens, you know, not only black or white America, but there is just that specific group that will see black Americans starting to thrive, and they'll just bring something, a demise that will drag the community down. And the greatest example was the Tulsa massacres, you know, and amongst others that have been, have been mentioned, you know. So the question is, how then does the black community make their success attainable?
That's a good question, guys. Yeah. And he suggested a lot of things. To be quite honest, I see a situation where I feel like this would be possible, but you know, the way they say in a revolution, a lot of lives have to be lost. I feel I see a situation where this would not be allowed. Can you imagine where for every red state where you have the sundown towns, like a lot of truckers have been going missing and a lot of truckers have been experiencing problems.
Even until 2025, you know me, I'm
happening, you know.
And I feel like we've heard of so many cases in 2025 than 2024 or other years since we started following the Black American affairs.
Either that or only now that it's being broadcasted or it's getting loud because of the age of social media.
Right.
I do believe that previously it was there, but it was on the down, like it was quiet, it wasn't loud. Right now it's loud because these cases are beginning to come out more often, you know.
I really wonder, and I ask myself, how is a human being with a human heart able to resent another human being for simply existing and the color of their skin to a point where they would cause them harm?
That's a good question. How does a human being, underline that word, how can someone just
hate you for simply existing because of your
this
skin
person
color?
Doesn't know you, has never met you, has never seen you, has never had an experience with you, but just because of the color of your skin, they feel like they have to get involved with you, and not in such a good way, you know. It takes a special level of resentment for someone to build that in their heart, and for someone to come across a stranger whom you know nothing about, and you decide to cause them the level of harm these people do in these red states, you know.
Right. As a matter of fact, you were speaking about the twins that went missing.
Even I wanted to speak about the twins that went missing and they ended up being found unalived, you know. Those were just kids, you know. They were kids. They didn't do anything to anybody, you know.
Yeah, and what made matters worse is that they allegedly died in a sundown town, and the sheriff department of that town was alleging that it was a suicide murder, meaning the twins killed each other. Which the family disputed that because they were going to the airport before they went missing, and their parents knew because they were even found with their flight tickets on their pockets.
That's some kind of evil. So as the brother suggested, guys, how many of you think that his perspective is on the, you know, he's going towards something, he's trying to paint a picture? Because I feel like sometimes there are people who normally say some people only speak one language, so you need to talk to them with the language that they understand. And I feel like I don't know, people who feel like they can be brave only when it comes to a situation where they're in a crowd. I feel like those are the greatest cowards of the world, because if they were told to face the same person that they're victimizing alone, I'm very sure these are the kind of people who would walk around like they have no problem with anybody. But because they're in a group and the other person is disadvantaged, they want to walk around like they own the world, like they have all the muscles they can flex in the world, you know. And that we are speaking for the palm-colored people, and they happen to be many who do these kind of things, you know. This is quite the picture that has been painted, and I definitely do have to say that this is one of the reasons why palm-colored people are normally in fear of Black Americans, because the number of things and the number of injustices that they do to Black Americans, when they sit down and think about the day that Black
they would never want anybody to experience to them.
Yeah, if the script was flipped on them and the Black Americans started treating them in all the horrible ways they've been treating Black Americans, that is definitely something that people would definitely be dreadful towards, you know. Because the number of things they've done to Black Americans and are still doing is something that literally no sane human being would want to experience, you know. So guys, let us know what you think about his call for the Black American brothers to come together, work together to protect their community, you know. I feel like someone listening to this with a sober mind, you'd see the message and the point he's trying to prove. But of course, there's always someone out there who doesn't have a sober mind who would look at this as insightful. But personally, I say this is an eye for an eye, you know. As he said, he painted a picture. Right now, there's a lot of Black people who are missing or in danger, you know, like for example, the truckers. So if someone somewhere knew that for every action we take against this group of people, they're gonna come to us and take the same action, then maybe
that would only make the two groups barbaric. Right now, there's only one barbarian at the gate, the people, right? And if Black Americans were to react like this, and already there is a bad narrative being spread about them on the media, I feel like this would be them falling into a bait that they're being laid for. Because remember,
I didn't look at it that way.
Exactly, because sometimes they usually say that. Because sometimes they usually say that not only in Africa but anywhere a Black person is, the reason why white people took over or colonized or did whatever they did to the Black people they found in that area was because Black people were very hospitable, accommodating, kind, and trusting.
So there's
and
a history there that
there's a history there, and they just found the weak areas of Black people to exploit, which I know is very wrong. But what if you lose the very thing that makes you human, wouldn't that make you inhuman? And I know some of you might not agree with or care to be seen as humans so long as you get your justice, but also remember, the same Bible we say that it has been written by God and it has been interfered with by man. That very same Bible says that God is love, and only if you love someone genuinely can you know how to be human. So there's the biggest difference between this kind of people and this kind of people is their actions and their long track record of how they treat other human beings. Generally, Black people, especially the ones I've met, they treat people equally, and they like to see people, especially here in Kenya, because I'm talking about people here in Kenya, the people who I've met, Black people from all around, right? They respect each other and they respect other races, But if we start acting like the barbarians at the gate, what difference will there be between us and them? Because this is the most single difference that makes us different.
It's a tricky situation, guys. I don't know what you have to say about that. And yeah, you remember when I said at the beginning that by the time whatever he's proposing or suggesting, by the time that gets to happen, like a lot of people will have lost their lives. And the propaganda, there's normally one group that is painted in this narrative, and we know of how Syria was painted in the in the propaganda in the whole world, what we knew about Middle East. And there's a narrative about Black Americans also. So when this is going to happen, of course you can imagine the type of labeling, the type of titles it's gonna create.
And you can't start doing this if you don't control a huge percentage of the media, because as of right now, still the media is controlled by this kind of people, meaning the campaigns will only get worse and worse. People from outside of America won't know that Black Americans are acting like this in self-defense because it was done to them first. Them, they'll only be shown, us who are outside America, will only be shown the part that Black Americans did, and we won't be told it was because they were defending themselves. You get what I'm saying?
That's a tricky situation,
it's
guys.
Very
but
tricky.
Let us not
because sometimes they usually say war is not won by fighting, but rather by the propaganda that's pushed outside. You get what I'm saying?
Right, guys.
So it's a tricky situation.
It's a tricky situation. Let us know what you think about this episode on the comment section. We'd like to hear from you. Also consider subscribing if it's your first time here, and we'll catch you on our next episode, right?
Right.